Well, welcome everybody. Nice to see you, all your wonderful, shining, smiling faces.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, so I don't know what this is going to be like today. So just bear with us and have fun, I think. Okay, so I am so grateful to be back. I have been gone from Oregon for about 2 weeks. I wasn't able to be here last Sunday. It's just it just, tears at my heart when I'm not able to participate and be part of this community. So grateful, and when I'm not here in Oregon, I love Oregon. I like where I'm at too, but I love Oregon. So I'm very, very grateful to be back. And a little off kilter, I suppose, that hour. The springing forward hasn't found its way into my step yet, as much as I'd like it to. Okay, so I think we're going to do the congregational song.
We're going to sing the congregational song. We're going to sing, I'm going to do what the Spirit says do. And keep in mind too, that's not always just the Spirit. It's also our spirit, doing what our Spirit suggests for us to do. It's a good thing this part doesn't go on.
That's just exactly what I was thinking about just a second ago. Yes.
That part doesn't go on there. Yeah. All right, so here we go. I'm going to do. All right, here we go. I'm gonna do what the Spirit says do. I'm gonna do what the Spirit says do. And what the Spirit says do, I'm gonna do. Lord, Lord, I'm gonna do what the Spirit says do. I'm gonna love when the Spirit says love. I'm gonna love when the Spirit says love. And when the Spirit says love, I'm gonna love. Lord, Lord, I'm gonna love when the Spirit says love. I'm gonna laugh when the Spirit says laugh. I'm gonna laugh when the Spirit says laugh. And when the Spirit says laugh, I'm gonna laugh. Lord, Lord, I'm gonna laugh when the Spirit says laugh. I'm gonna laugh when the Spirit says laugh. I'm gonna laugh when the Spirit says laugh. And when the Spirit says laugh, I'm gonna laugh. Lord, Lord, I'm gonna laugh when the Spirit says laugh. Dream, I'm gonna dream when the Spirit says dream. Dream big, I'm gonna dream when the Spirit says dream. And when the Spirit says dream, I'm gonna dream. Lord, Lord, I'm gonna dream when the Spirit says dream. I'm gonna play when the Spirit says play. I'm gonna play when the Spirit says play. And when the Spirit says play, I'm gonna play. Lord, Lord, I'm gonna play when the Spirit says play. I'm gonna dance when the Spirit says dance. I'm gonna dance when the Spirit says dance. And when the Spirit says dance, I'm gonna dance. Lord, Lord, I'm gonna dance when the Spirit says dance. I'm gonna do what the Spirit says do. I'm gonna do what the Spirit says do. And what the Spirit says do, I'm gonna do. Lord, Lord, I'm gonna do what the Spirit says do. And what the Spirit says do, I'm gonna do. Lord, Lord, I'm gonna do what the Spirit says do.
So before I call Patricia up to do the announcements, the laughing thing just reminded me of something that happened this last week. I've been having this one particular problem for months, and it was supposed to be resolved on Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday. But somebody didn't do their part. 2 people didn't do their part. And so I called my manager and I said, really? What the heck? Why didn't they do this? And he's trying to be calm and, just find this out. And I was calm, just really kind of frustrated. But at some point, what I said to him was, I don't know why this keeps happening to me. Okay, but I didn't get it. I hung up the phone. In less than 5 minutes, I heard, I don't know why this keeps happening to me. And I just burst out laughing. It was like, oh really? It's happening to you. Yes. But the laughter, right? They said, laugh about that. That's ridiculous. So anyway.
So Saturday, if you're interested, Elisa Drake and I are doing a dream workshop. She does the dream pillows, and I teach you how to do the dream interpretation. And that is going to be from, I think 1 to 5. We have it in as 10 to 2, but I think it's going to be 1 to 5. So I'll announce that on Facebook too, and that's $45. And then from 6 to 8, we have a new medium who is coming, medium John DiLorenzo. And so that's going to be from 6 to 8. The cost is $20. That'll be here Saturday night. He's very good.
And what is he gonna be doing?
He's a medium, so he will make connection. Thank you for asking. So he sees departed ones. So he'll be able to bring in people. Well, he doesn't go, hey, get over here. I mean, it's not like that, but you know, they show up, and so if you're wanting to connect with the departed one, and he's also an intuitive. So those are the things I wanted to also tell you. March 25th, which is a Tuesday from 1 to 3, free Bible study with me. And we're doing metaphysical Bible study. We're using the book by Rocco Errico and George Lomza, Aramaic Light on Genesis. So if you're interested, 1 to 3 o'clock here.
That's a new one, isn't it, by Rocco?
Well, sort of, not really, because Lomza's dead. And
Well, yeah,
Lomza-
Lomza's been gone for a long
But,
time.
and they both wrote that.
Oh,
So
it's something they wrote together?
Yeah, it's when they wrote
Really?
together.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I hadn't looked at that one.
Yeah, so
What day is that?
it's Tuesday
Okay.
from 1 to 3.
Bring a lunch?
Hey, yeah, sure. I wouldn't mind you if you brought me lunch. So my reading today is from Dr. Maxwell Marks, and he wrote Psycho-Cybernetics, and this is on faith. Faith and courage are developed in exactly the same way. Only your goals are different. If you are going to spend time in worry, why not worry constructively? Begin by outlining for yourself the most desirable possible outcome. Begin with your suppose. Suppose the best possible outcome did actually come about. Next, remind yourself that after all, this could happen. Not that it will happen at this stage, but only that it could. I'm sorry, I gotta do this. You know how that just feels so awkward for me. Not that it will happen at this stage, but only that it could.
It felt awkward for me too.
Did it? Yeah. It's very odd for me to stand behind you. Remind yourself that after all, such a good and desirable outcome is possible. You can mentally accept and digest gradual doses of optimism and faith. I'll read that again. Think about that. You can mentally accept and digest gradual doses of optimism and faith. After having thought of the desired end result as definite possibility, begin to imagine what the desirable outcome would be like. Go over these mental pictures and delineate the details and refinements. How many of us do that? It's called daydreaming for me, right? Play them over and over to yourself. As your mental images become more detailed, as they are repeated over and over again, you will find that appropriate feelings are beginning to manifest themselves, just as if the favorable outcome had already happened. These appropriate feelings will be those of faith, self-confidence, courage, all wrapped up into one package, that winning feeling. Now, I don't know, I told this some time ago, but you know, they did studies on athletes, and they would do some testing on athletes when they were like running, and then they would do the same testing when they were just laying down thinking about running, and they got the same body testing from that. The mind does not know what's real and what's not. Okay, so if you are running or thinking about running, the mind doesn't know the difference. So if you want to have a good possible outcome, you think about it. And it happens because the mind doesn't know the difference between what's out there and what's in you. All right? So if you want something wonderful to happen in your life, think about it over and over and over. just think about this for a minute. You know how sometimes you worry about something? Of course, I know none of you do that, but you know how sometimes you worry about something and it's like a sore tooth over and over and over, right? And then what happens?
Manifest.
Yeah, manifest. So it's the same thing, you know, but think on the positive. So faith and courage today.
Well, and that's why vision boards are so good,
Yes.
right? Because every time you look at it, it reminds you of what it is that you're asking to have manifest.
That's right. And speaking of which, Deb, when is your vision board class?
It's the 29th,
29th.
yes,
Upstairs?
yes.
At what time?
Let's see,
1 to 3?
yes,
Okay.
1 to 3. I'm sorry, because we changed that, but yeah. And it should be really interesting, especially if you've never been able to finish your vision boards. People sit there and cut and cut and cut, and can never really get it done. And I have ways of, it's going to be an accelerated, it's very fun. And there's like 5 different areas that we'll be touching, so.
Yay. And then next Sunday, potluck, right?
Yes,
2
potluck,
o'clock here.
yes.
Potluck, if you'd like to come, CFIA and Sacred Space are joining up and doing things together. So we're planning for the future. We're going to have a summer solstice event. So we're going to have a lot of vendors and people if they want to rent
Okay,
tables
cool.
and things. Huh?
Cool.
Yeah, so June 21st. So we're planning a lot of cool stuff. So.
What we're asking, can I just share
Yeah,
real quick,
please.
is that, it's like if every one of you would talk or touch bases with 5 other people and start bringing them in, and then find out what the resources that we have that are available to us that we can take to the community. And, you know, because I think that we are so gifted and have this ability to have it here, that we really should have the community be involved, because, oh my goodness, how gifted are we? So let's spread that. And my biggest thing is that if you bring in 2 people and they bring in 2 people, you know, just consider what beautiful people that we
Well,
could have here.
That's
And
like
next-
the Breck commercial.
Yes.
It's like a what?
The Breck commercial. I'm sorry, for those of you who are young, you won't know what that is.
So, and then next Sunday, we have a new time, a new starting time. So it'll no longer be at 10 o'clock. Starting next Sunday, services start at 11. So we've had a lot of people go, look, I would really like to come. I can't do 10 o'clock. So we said, okay, we hear you. So. When your faith can move mountains, we discovered the fountain that is flowing within the heart of every living soul. We can all use the power, plant the weeds or the flowers. All it takes is a little trust and the faith to just let go. So let's be willing to see the light that is shining in us all. We are born to fly, give our wings a try, and live a life that If it weren't for the dreamers and the truly believers, I'd be driving a horse and buggy and living in the dark. And we all came from the same place, and we're all using the same faith. And all it takes is a little trust
with a straight face. I bet I can't, but here we go. Faith. The final frontier. Our soul's mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new ways of being, to boldly go where our souls have never gone before. I'd like to thank my counsel for that help. Yeah. And Star Trek, yes, exactly. So I'm brushing my teeth, I think, I was brushing my teeth this morning, and all of a sudden, this pops in my head. It's like, okay. What I find so funny about it is as I was preparing for this talk over the last 2 weeks, really week and a half, I was preparing a totally different talk because I had looked at the wrong topic. So last night about 9:30, I look at my sheet and it's like, oh wait, I need to talk about a totally different thing. How am I going to do that? So anyway, all right, so let's think about this in terms of our souls on this mission. Just really like the Star Trek Enterprise, right? And when this first came through, what I thought about was really, and I don't know who took the picture of like the galaxy. So you look out and you see this huge expanse. And you see all these little stars around, you see the Milky Way, all this beautiful stuff. And that's what we're here to explore. That's what our final mission is to find ourselves as spirit in this world of exploration. And so I'm going to try to use metaphors from Star Trek, which will tell you a little bit about my geekiness. But anyway, so I was thinking about how we fit in and how we don't fit in. So let's look at Star Trek. They have all these different people from all different worlds that come together to work together to find something, right? To explore something together. All different beliefs, all different ways of being, and yet they all work together, right? Unless they're the, people that they're having to fight against. We're not going to talk about those. We're just on the Enterprise itself. And how challenging that is. So and I can't really even say this about Star Trek, but let's say most of the people are, from the United States. But then we have Klingons and we have other people, around that come in, but there's not too many of them. There's, just a couple on the ship. And they have to integrate into this world that I'm assuming would be kind of a foreign world. If that isn't where you grew up, if you didn't learn those habits, if you didn't know those things. And yet they stepped into that challenge in order to be part of the greater mission. And that's really what we do. We step in every day to the challenge in order to be part of the greater mission, which is the greater mission of our soul's journey to get us to wherever it is that we're wanting to get to. And who knows where that is. But we get to do it over and over and over again. Not only do we get to do it over and over and over again in terms of every single day, right? Every single day we wake up and we have an opportunity to go through our mission of that day in a different way, if that is what our choice is. And from a lifetime perspective, for those of us who believe in reincarnation, we have opportunities to go through it again in lifetimes, which in the scheme of things is just a blink of an eye. So I just thought that was kind of an interesting, sort of thought. What does that mean when we wake up every day and we're going to go and participate, we're going to try to grow our souls into whatever it is that our soul has asked us to come here to do. We're trying to find that path. We're trying to, when we're on the path, stay on the path. Recognize that there's other stuff going on. There's these little, shuttle missions that happen, and sometimes you get to go off on the shuttle missions, and sometimes you don't. You have to stay on the ship and make sure that it doesn't get blown up. But sometimes you get to go off and explore a little bit, but you find your way back to the ship, right? And that's really what our souls are doing every day. We go off on little missions, We come back, sometimes we go off on missions and we get lost in another world. And, well, we do, right? And sometimes we're lost there for a little bit too long, but we find our way back, hopefully. And if we don't, that actually then was the road we were supposed to take. Even though it seemed like that was this side mission. It actually was our purpose. It was what we were supposed to be doing. So let's talk about something else, Council. You sent me down this direction, so give me the words. Aha, okay. So now what's coming to mind is, I don't know if any of you saw this episode, and it's been so long ago, but Jean-Luc Picard. He goes to some kind of council with the Klingons. And it was in this round table meeting room trying to convince them of something. I don't remember what it was. Trying to prevent some kind of war, which was always, the point of Star Trek. There was always some violence going on. You take those shuttle missions, something's going to happen to you. And he's there trying to convince these people that have a different way of looking at things why that approach is not the best approach, either for them or for the universe at large. And look at what strength that has to take. To be the one, wherever he came from, France, I suppose, in the Star Trek, I can't remember. He did? Okay. To be the one Frenchman in this room of Klingons trying to hold space, trying to keep peace. How often do we do that? How often do we step into who we are and say, this is my soul mission, this is what I'm supposed to do, and I'm going to do it. Other people around me may have issues with it. They may look at me and say, I'm just some weirdo. But you know what? It's what my soul is telling me to do. I'm going to move into my frontier because it's all about me and what my frontier and my soul is telling me to do. Because in that step, my soul knows that each step I take has reverberations with everybody else in the entire world. It supports everybody else in the entire world. I can stand in my truth, and I can stand in my faith, and I can stand in the knowledge that even though I am scared to death, because I don't want to go sit at that table with all of those Klingons, have my communicator taken away from me, have no phasers to protect myself, to try to have a discussion with these people that are kind of warring about, or warring type people, about why not to go down that path. I'm just the freak in the room. But he does, right? Episode after episode, he steps into that role. And I realize it's just TV. We're using that as a metaphor. Because honestly, every single day we step into that role. Some days it's easy. Some days the fear of making the step into our frontier, there is no fear. You just step right into it. It feels normal. It feels like that's exactly the next step that needs to be made on our path. And sometimes it's, oh my gosh, if I step into that, that's like opening the viewfinder, I don't know what they call it, screen on the Enterprise, and you can now see the universe. That's scary. Because you can see the universe, but what you can't do is see yourself in that universe. You can't see what your step is meaning to you in your path, or to you and your process with everybody else in the world. And that's what faith is all about. Faith is recognizing that the frontier that we all encounter every single day in one way or another, in small ways and in huge ways, is part of reminding us to stand in faith, to know that we're not alone on this journey. We have people who are helping us, we have people who are helping us. They don't know they're helping us, right? But they're in our path. It's just like when you're driving down the road and you don't know whether to take a right or a left turn, or you think you're lost, and so you pull over to the gas station, or somebody that looks like they might know where things are in the city that you're in. You know, you don't know. And you ask the question, well, what direction should I go? I don't know which way to go. And they give you the direction, and you get back on your path, and you know, go. I totally lost my train of thought. But that is what faith is. You ask the person, where should I go? They say, here's the direction. You say, okay. And you go that way because you think, well, they know. They know the area, they know the land. They were put there to help you get to where it is that you need to go. You also have people that you know have been put here to help you get to where you need to go. Right? And those are the people that you go to and you ask for assistance. You ask for help. You use them as soundboards. You talk about problems and you listen to what they have to say. Sometimes you like it, sometimes you don't, but you hear it. And you know that you can rely on them to do their best to help you. And then there are those people who you think, really? Okay, like the guy that really caused me to call my manager to say, really, what the heck? Why is this happening to me? Well, okay, that had to happen for me to recognize that I had been standing in this space of victimhood in relation to my work for about, well, I don't know, maybe almost since I started.
Wow.
Yes, which made me laugh. I mean, it really did, right? When they pointed it out to me, it just really made me laugh. It's like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Right? This is all part of your own journey. This is helping your soul. This is part of what you chose to do in order to further yourself in the spirit, in your spirit, to help you get to wherever it is that your soul is trying to get to. As part of the path of this life, as part of the path of next life. And I say lives because there's multiple of them. I guess I want to talk now about the food on the Enterprise. Because how cool would it be to walk up to something and say, I'd like to have a bowl of tomato soup at 132.5 degrees, right, and have it manifest in front of you. All right, I wouldn't be asking for that. I'd be asking for a bowl of, I don't know, some kind of really luscious chocolate with something in it, I don't know. But that goes to choice. That goes to recognizing the power that you have. To me, it's a metaphor for the power that you have within yourself to make choices and to choose the outcome that you're looking for. And Patricia talked about that in her talk. That machine is us. All we have to do is say, this is what I want, and recognize every single time Spirit is directing you to step into your frontier in faith and begin greeting what is already there waiting for you. You just have to get to it. So, think about what it is that we want, individually, of course, and collectively. If we can do that as a group as well. I mean, we can't go up to that little device right now and say, we would like to have this group of warring people get along better. But we can do that. 2 or more people get together. The energy from that is exponential. It can make a difference, and it does make a difference. So you're having difficulties in your family or in your relationships or whatever, and sit with your spouse, with your loved one, with your, at the moment, hated one, and pray together that the right action is happening for you, that you know which step to take, that together you will find what you need to do in order to resolve the conflict that is going on within your life, your family, with your children, any of those things. Allow that power to come in. See it as standing in front of that, what is that called?
Replicator.
The replicator, yes! Gosh, how did I forget that?
I love that.
Yes, see yourself standing in front of the replicator, replicating for you exactly what it is that you're wanting. Because there isn't any reason why we can't do that. We can. We just have to remember that we always have to step in faith into our frontier with maybe not knowing exactly how that step is going to get the I'm not going to fall, to get the replicator to create what it is that we're wanting for us. Is that what you thought? I might be stepping
How'd
too
you
far
know
off.
that?
I don't know.
Oh, that's weird. Yes, I did.
Yes. I like the replicator thing.
Me too.
It just really throws that extra power in. I think from now on, I'm going to, oh no, my counsel wouldn't like that. Okay, I am going to step into something that has my counsel all around, and they're going to be my replicator. So for each of us, I think we should think about how do we create that sort of energy for ourselves so that we can more easily replicate what it is that we're wanting, because it really isn't hard. What's hard is that our minds think about the things that we don't want. We don't think about the positive of what we do want, and we tend sometimes not to think about, well, no, we tend sometimes to think about how something else is preventing us. So it's kind of this, I don't like to use the word negative, but it's kind of this negative thought, right? So you have a problem at work and you wish that somebody would go away. Well, it doesn't, why? The person can stay there. What you really want is that the situation in which you find yourself with the person resolves itself, that in the best way possible, that in the highest and best good for the both of you, that the situation resolves. You don't really care how it resolves, just that it does resolve. And maybe the situation, maybe the resolution is this: they get another job. Okay, that's good, situation resolved. Or maybe you get another job. That's good, situation resolved. What's in our highest and greatest good? It doesn't mean you're going to be demoted. That's not in your highest and greatest good. Well, unless that's part of your path and there's something for you to do down there. I don't mean down there, but
Yeah.
Donna,
yes.
I don't want to goof you up, but could you talk a little bit and explain how we all have a council and how that is, and because I think that some people don't know they have a council, and how can they connect with their council?
No, you can talk about that next time. All right, so Patricia has asked me to explain a council and what that means. So each of us have spirit helpers that are here to help us and guide us. And sometimes people can actually see them, right? You can see your own helpers, you can feel them, you can hear them. Sometimes you don't, but they are always interacting in your life to help you, to try to get you to take that step into your final frontier.
Nice.
And they can do that in many ways. So they can send people into your life to help you make a course correction, or send people into your life to help you continue to move down the path that you were on. Maybe at a moment when you felt like, I don't think this is the right thing. All of a sudden somebody shows up, right, and they're helping you to move down that path. Frequently, it's something that just kind of like in your awareness. And if you're paying attention, you catch it. And it's what I call second attention awareness. And it's an awareness of what it will be is some piece of information for you. Like, this is really a dramatic example, but I think it's good. Those people who are just about ready to get onto a plane and they think, I'm not going to take that plane. And then something happens on the plane, and the plane doesn't make it to its destination. Right? So it's a really dramatic example of second attention awareness, because something said, don't do it. And they didn't do it. They followed through on it. So second attention awareness is information that is being imparted to you in this kind of, and I don't know why it's so quick, but in this kind of split-second way, recognizing that it had been coming to you this whole time. And I love that, because well, what I love is to get it the first time, but sometimes that doesn't work in our really busy lives. Life is going and information comes and you just kind of let it go because you're busy focusing on other things, like not hitting the car next to you as you're driving, or not spilling your coffee, or trying to get a report done at work, or, not hammering your thumb with the hammer, if you're doing some kind of construction. But our counsel and our spirit is always here with us. We can always ask for help. We can ask for help that it comes in a way that we hear it, that we recognize it. We can ask for help to come to us in dream time. We can ask just before we go to sleep. We can focus on whatever issue it is that we're trying to resolve and ask Spirit to provide the resolution for that or the next step during our dream time and make it so that we remember it when we wake up. Same thing with, can you give me some information here? When you send a second attention awareness, find a way to make sure that I'm recognizing it. Because oftentimes, we're not, because like I said, we're busy with our regular lives, and as much as we try to stay connected, and we are always connected, don't make that mistake and think that we're not. We are always connected. But we don't think so. Sometimes we kind of close the door so that when the information comes through, it isn't quite as loud or as clear as it might need to be in order to grab our attention in that moment. But they are always there. They are always wanting to help us. And we can always ask our hearts. If there's somebody that has come into our lives and we're not sure whether or not they're there to help us, we can always ask our heart, Spirit, have the information come through our heart. Is so-and-so here to help me with such and such? Or do I need to be careful of so-and-so? So I will, and I'm just going to share before we go into meditation. One of the things that I have a tendency to do is to ignore the negative information that comes to me. So Spirit will say kind of these odd things. I was walking back to a table with a couple of workmates. Walking back, I don't know where I went, probably restroom. Walking back to the table, and I happened to look at somebody, and what I heard come out of my head is that this person is a cigarette smoking, alcohol drink, or bar room biker bee. And so, and I'm walking to the table and I'm thinking, now why would I think that? That's just awful. Throw that out. So, continue to have a great, over time, however, this person has showed themselves to be who they are. So it was Spirit's way of trying to get me to understand that this person was not the kind of person that they were actually portraying themselves to be, at least to me. And trying to warn me, so be careful. And yet, because it was this negative thought, I didn't know this person, I just completely blew that off. And thought, that's just some kind of stupid thought crossing my mind. Why would I even think that? So, second attention awareness is both, these wonderful things and maybe something that is trying to get you to recognize something in a different way so that you don't get hurt or harmed that otherwise you might find yourself in some kind of situation. So, that's what that's what our own spirit, our own councils, our own groups can do for us. They help us take our steps into our frontiers, our soul's missions, each and every day. And now, I invite you to close your eyes. We will do a meditation of some kind. I was going to say a medication. We might do a medication too, let's see.
That's my exit.
So we'll sing All Is Well as we do the meditation.
All is well.
All is well with my soul. All is well with my soul. All is well with my soul. All is
as we go into meditation, close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and blow it out. In your mind's eye, see the frontier of your soul's mission. See how beautiful it is. See the colors that swirl around in this wonderful, beautiful painting of us. Feel the safety as your spirit guides and counsel support you. Notice in your heart a desire that you have. Allow it to spring forth. Allow yourself to really feel what that would be like for that desire to become manifest. And as you're looking in your soul's galaxy and mission, see yourself in front of that replicator. See your spirit guides and counsel and your soul and yourself programming the replicator to create what is in your heart, your desire. A positive manifestation of something that you want. And just like on the Star Trek Enterprise, when you can ask for something and it appears, that is true for you as well. As you finish programming the replicator, see a great big green go button. And press that go button. And watch as that replicator creates what you are desiring. It does it so quickly. It seems to create it out of nothing. You have no idea how this can happen, but here it is, ready for you. All you have to do is in faith and courage, take the step into your frontier, grasping a hold of what you have just created and bringing the two of you together. In your heart, be so grateful to God, to all of the spirits, those that are seen and unseen, every element, every human, every animal, everything that has helped to create this moment for you, that has allowed your soul to make this achievement. Breathe it in as though it's part of you. Know, going forward, that this is you. There is nothing that can separate you from what you have just created. And while in the natural you may not know, you may not see it, you walk away from this moment knowing that it is there. And at the right time, in the right way, it will show up for you and it will be part of your life, just as you desire. And if that feels complete for you, thank your spirit helpers. Thank whatever it is that you have manifested for coming into your life. Take a deep breath in. Slowly come back to the room. And open your eyes. so much for this time together. And as we think of this room as ourselves being in the replicator, we ask that you would give to us this day the energy that we need to act as though the spring forward thing just didn't happen to our bodies physically. Give us all the energy and all the excitement that we need to go from this moment on in complete energy and satisfaction of who we are, knowing that we can step into our final frontier, that we can ask to replicate what it is that our mind's eye and our heart's soul is asking us to bring forth in life. And we say these things with great love and gratefulness. And so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Amen.
Woohoo!
Thank